Podcast, your high source for discussions on horror, sci-fi, and fantasy. And now here are your hosts, Izzy and Matt.
Welcome, Splizzak, to the Cinnabud Podcast. Again, we are your hosts, Izzy.
And I'm Matt.
And tonight, we have a very special review, very advanced review for us.
Yeah.
And for the movie Us. What were you going to say?
Great pun there. Oh, no. Yeah, no, we got an advanced screener for Jordan Peele's new film, Us. Super excited to get this. You know, I was going to see this already.
Right.
Yeah, the hype is real. And it lived up to it for me personally, just
Same
like right
here.
off the bat. Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
So this is our no spoiler review for this movie. We're gonna do a full breakdown once the film is out on our next episode.
Yeah, on our next full episode. This one's going to be pretty short.
Right. Yeah, just a quick
short, sweet.
little spoiler-free review for the masses. Yeah.
All right. Well, first off, I just want to say, definitely went in this with like a clear head. Had only seen the first teaser trailer.
Right.
Didn't see the second one purposely.
No, yeah, neither did I.
And going into this, I also didn't think anything about Get Out. I was just like, fresh new lens, fresh mind on it.
Of course.
And I'm glad I did, because it definitely stood out like on its own.
Mm-hmm.
It was really cool. And just what I heard about it beforehand was, it's definitely not what you would expect compared to the last one. It's not. It's definitely different.
Yeah,
which
for
I like
sure.
though. That's cool. It opens it up for more creatively, essentially.
Yeah, I think that this is a totally different movie outside of it obviously being made by the same guy. Like, it has a similar feel in
Totally.
in that it's his writing. It's,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and there's lots of room for metaphor and inference and all of that if you want it, but as like a face value product, this is a great movie.
Yeah.
And Jordan Peele has that appeal for sure. He's got that going for him, where he's a deep dude with a lot of layers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it really comes through in his filmmaking, like, clearly.
Very big, like Twilight Zone feel too.
Absolutely. And with how this movie plays with editing a lot,
Mm-hmm.
like even within the first, like, I'd say 5
Yeah.
minutes, it was it forces you to be patient, which is a great thing to sit you down and tell you this is something you're gonna have to pay attention to.
Right.
And it
keeps you wondering throughout the entire film.
Right. You're kind of just hoping for something to go down, and then the moment from that trailer, there's a family outside.
Yeah.
The moment from that on, this movie had its foot to the floor on the gas. You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
Like, awesome pacing in this movie. I really like I don't want to get too into spoilers.
Right.
Not
yet.
So, characters. I think Lupita Nyong'o is like on a level that playing two different characters in like their differences are staggering, and like she's really creepy and shocking, and the A and B of her, like her normal
Great
self.
actress too.
Oh, fantastic. Like,
Really good.
this is on a level of like Toni Collette in Hereditary.
For sure. I can
Like,
see that.
Like, definitely bought into this very hard because of her performance.
Yeah.
And
For everybody.
Oh, absolutely.
Like everybody involved in this movie, I felt like was just kind of like, I don't know, again, like dealing like with their own, like,
everyone kind of had their own storyline.
yeah, their own their own agendas or something, like there's
Sure.
something going on for everyone in this film. It felt like,
Yeah, I mean, it's a normal
again,
life.
like a Twilight Zone
like
episode.
a fleshed out
Yeah,
sort of
something
character
crazy.
arc.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, we have the son and his tricks, and the girl and her social media, and the dad and his dad humor.
Yeah.
Winston Duke was he easily
was awesome.
won like this movie for me. He was awesome. I really like Tim Heidecker for how brief we saw him.
I forgot he was in
movie.
this movie. Like, I had heard about it.
Seeing perfect role for him.
I forgot. I think you told me he was in it or something.
In every sense, like how it all turned out, shockingly good. Yeah.
Definitely.
I was into it.
Without going into any spoilers, definitely.
Yeah, no, not at all.
It's really hard.
Yeah, and man. So the little boy, the child acting in this is pretty awesome.
Top notch,
too.
yeah. It's pretty good.
Yeah, definitely. Man, as to where this movie like hits any sort of like low point to me, it's kind of hard to not gush about something that you really enjoyed. So it's like I feel like I'm hesitant to not just do that the whole time, but I don't know. Perhaps some of the pacing during some of the intense scenes, like I was saying, the pacing is good. This is like sub pacing. Might have been a little dragged on here and there, like
Sure.
And I might have wanted to see some more outcomes here and there, rather than get inference or other characters' reactions.
Mm-hmm.
But it's all just nitpicky.
What I really love too is it just kind of well hold on, go back to that nitpicky like
all my anything negative I might
I
have
got
to say
you. I
about
got
it,
you.
know what
They're
I'm
just
saying?
like minuscule type
Yeah,
of things.
exactly.
Okay, I got you. Yeah, well, in addition to that, like, or to top on that, is like what I really loved is, or what made it fresh for me, I guess, is like what to expect in this movie is you're gonna like if you were ever like watching like old horror films or anything like that, there's a lot of like, and from him being a hardcore horror fan, apparently, there's several old tropes. Like from sci-fi and horror, like things that are like stuff that you've seen from like again like Twilight Zone or like an old horror movie or something like that. Like,
yeah,
again, I can't get
felt
into spoilers
Hitchcockian.
without. Yeah, definitely at certain parts. Yeah,
yeah.
But yeah, you can tell like he's just using these old tropes that nobody really uses anymore or haven't been really in the spotlight. I'm sure there's other people using
Might be
them,
some
but in
classic
the spotlight.
thriller tropes that we're seeing here, and it definitely feels fresh though.
Yeah, exactly.
It still does.
It made it feel
and
fresh,
like
because it hasn't been used in so long.
And the concepts are pretty original outside of
of course, the approach. Yeah,
it was a mix of thriller, straight horror, and
it felt
some
like
sci-fi
his versions
as well. A little tiny bit of sci-fi thrown in.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Definitely.
And for however much we had the explanations, and outcomes that we might have wanted or expected in some ways, it's really about the journey. And this movie has like an awesome, just way of making you really anticipate the next thing, like
enjoying
I can't wait, like
what's on this other part of the ride.
What is happening elsewhere right now, like that sort of thing, like like what is this character off screen, like I want what's going on, like with like this moment, and some it definitely elicits the right emotions for sure, which is any effective piece of art. And this is one of them for sure.
Speaking of effective, the kills very effective for me.
Yeah, there's
me. I'm kind of a stickler because like I've just been so desensitized from.
We can't get into spoilers though.
Oh, we're not. I'm not.
Well,
what I'm saying
to
is
imply
like,
that there's kills in this movie is to even touch on spoilers. But yes.
Oh well, I mean, fine. Anyway, they made me kind of like, oh fuck.
Well, definitely.
And that's cool. I love it when movies do that for me because it's hard. I don't get that thrill anymore.
Definitely a little bit more grounded when you're dealing with like the element of a family.
Yeah.
Like whenever you deal with that, it always feels more grounded because everyone can relate to that, for the most part.
For sure.
Yeah. Outside of dynamic, but yeah, it's just like Winston Duke is like, everyone knows a Winston Duke in that film, like with the father, like Everyone knows that dad. He's a cool dad. But yeah. What would you give this movie?
I feel like we should wait.
Yeah. Okay, I'm down with that. So,
Yeah, because I want to put some notes on my review for sure.
Oh, absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. So, I mean, everyone's going to compare this film to
Get Out.
To Get Out,
and
which
don't.
It's not a really a fair comparison outside of. It's almost like two different songs on an album. Like they're both good. Like you might enjoy one than another, but like
completely different concepts.
Yeah.
Completely.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. But as a premiere director on Get Out, and then this is his follow-up, dude is cementing himself as the next person to look out for.
Yeah,
absolutely.
That's why he was so outspoken about like, oh yeah, like my big thing right now is horror, and that's what I'm gonna do. He attached himself to as a producer to the Twilight Zone series that's gonna be popping up again. So like,
that's so cool.
He's definitely like, this is what I said I want to do, and this is what I'm doing.
We need a voice like this
that.
in horror. We need a voice like this, and I couldn't be happier to like be alive and be experiencing it right now for sure. Like,
it's definitely nice to have that, like somebody who's in the big spotlight to be able to just expand on that.
For sure,
there's a lot of people who want to, but they're just not at that opportunity to do so. They're not in that spotlight,
right?
Unfortunately,
as someone who loves the horror genre, it's like. We have gotten a couple gems like lately, like Get Out being one of them, like a landmark in horror films, and this is a worthy successor for sure. And another horror film that I mentioned earlier, Hereditary, that would be another one in recent times that is like amongst stellar proportions for sure.
Of course.
And this is something that is going to be within conversations for horror fans for decades.
Definitely.
Yeah. Stoked on it.
Me too, dude. And I cannot wait just to see other people's reactions, just how this is. And I mean, man, I want to see this again.
Right.
No doubt I'll be seeing this once again. But I mean, that's really all I have to say about the movie without any spoilers. Do you have anything else to add, man? Because it's really hard to stay tight-lipped.
It really, really is. I don't know. Yeah, I think I'm definitely gonna marinate on it and maybe see it again before we get to review it. And yeah,
Okay.
And we'll have a bigger, better opinion.
Yeah, check out this movie for sure, though. Just want to thank you again for listening to this review of Us, or spoiler-free review of Us. Again, you can find the podcast at Cinebud Podcast anywhere under social media. Find myself and my music under Excessive Suppressin or Izzy Cinebud. Matt, where can we find you?
You can find me at Coriander Sprig on Twitter, and you can find me at great.strength on Instagram. And
that's right. All right, man.
Yeah.
So again, we're at Cinebud Podcast. Saying out.
Peace.